Hi everyone, namaste, welcome. My name is Kalindi. This session that I'm going to take you guys through is to release tension from our hips and shoulders. These are probably two very common areas that we experience a lot of tension, and it could be one of the main reasons why you started practicing yoga asana. So through today's session, we will spend a bit of time releasing the shoulders. We'll incorporate some standing postures. We'll also do some nice deep stretches for the hips as well. So I hope it makes your bodies feel a little bit lighter and comfortable after we do this session. So to begin with, we're just going to do a little bit of breath work just to help us to settle, get a little more focus so that we can be really aware of what's going on in our bodies. Sitting comfortably. Just gently closing the eyes, a little length up through the spine. Soft through the shoulders and heavy through the hips. Just gently noticing your breath, your inhale, your exhale. Just allowing this breath to slow right down. Taking in a long, deep inhale. And a long, relaxing exhale. Just doing a few rounds of this in your own time. Okay, now I'd like you to encourage equal length between your inhale and your exhale. So to do this, as you inhale, just inhale for a count of 4 or 5, depending on the length of your breath. And then just make sure you exhale out for that same count. Just doing one more round of breathing in this way. Alright, then when you're ready, just gently reopening your eyes. So as we move through this practice, I encourage you to stay really connected with your breath. This will really help you to release that tension that you're experiencing. So start by taking your left arm out in front of you, wrapping your right arm around. See if you can get the palms together. If you can't get the palms together, then just take the backs of the hands together. And if you can't get the elbows one on top of the other, just simple. Just try and reach your hands back for your shoulder blades, and you can pull the elbows forward. So soften down through the shoulders, reaching those elbows forward, and just keeping your gaze level, your chin level with the ground. And just start to gently guide your breath into that stretch that you're feeling in the upper back and around the shoulder blades. You know, if you've ever been for a massage, the massage therapist will always say, breathe. This will really help you to let go of that tension. So consciously breathe into those areas that you're feeling that tension and tightness. All right, let's inhale, release the arms, gently draw the elbows back, open across the chest, reach into the fingers, and then exhale, switch sides. So right arm on top of left. So if you can't get the arms to wrap, then reach your hands back for your shoulder blades. Gently reaching elbows forward, gaze parallel to the ground, elbows parallel to the ground. Reaching those elbows forward as you breathe into your upper back area. All right, taking one more breath. And then inhale, gently releasing the arms. Again, draw those elbows back, open through the hands. And exhale, release your hands down to your knees. From here, just dropping the right ear towards the right shoulder. You can take your right hand onto the left side of the head and just gently pull the head away from the shoulder. So rather than just yanking the head straight down, just encourage a little bit of length through the side of the neck there as you tilt down. If you've got enough of a stretch here, just keep the hand on the knee, or maybe you can try hand to the ground, or maybe hand can wrap behind your back. So just find the position that is best suited for your body. All right, one more breath. And then inhale, release the hands, head back to center, and switch sides. Left ear to left shoulder, right hand to the side of the head, and then just gently pulling the head away from the shoulder. Very gentle with the neck. This just helps to increase that stretch through the side of the neck, and then take the hand position of your choice. And just breathe into the neck. You may also feel a stretch down across the top of your shoulder. Just taking one more breath. And then inhale, releasing back up, releasing your arms. And just take a moment with the hands on the knees. All right, this next one that we're going to do, I'm just going to turn myself around so you can see what we're going to do. There's two options, and this is just to get into the front of the shoulders. So if you're quite tight through the shoulders, then just take this option with your fists against each other, drawing your elbows back so you can open across the chest, and draw the shoulders back as well. Oh, sorry, and option two, for those of you that are quite open through the shoulders already, you can try taking your hands into reverse prayer. You may be able to slide those hands up your back a little bit more. And again, same thing, you want to draw those elbows back slightly, keep your gaze level, and draw the shoulders back and open. And just take some breaths here. Feel that nice openness across the chest. Good one to do if you've been spending a lot of time on your devices or on the couch. All right, then from here, let's all release our left hand. We're going to reach that hand up towards the sky and then drop the hand down the back. Now, if you can get the hands to meet, grab a hold. If your hands don't quite meet, then just grab a hold of your t-shirt of wherever you can reach, and just encourage those elbows to move in towards the body. Tendency here is to drop the head to try and get the hands together, but I'd prefer that you keep your gaze level and height through the chest rather than trying to round. That kind of defeats the purpose of the stretch. So once you've got your position, just breathing easy. Take a couple more breaths here. All right, then with your exhale, release that top hand. Bring those hands back into reverse prayer, or fists meet each other. And then let's switch sides. So reaching up through the right arm. Take that hand down the back. If the fingers reach, go for it, grab a hold. If they don't, that's okay, just grab a hold of your t-shirt. Draw up through that top elbow, draw in through the bottom elbow. Watch that you're not rounding down. Keep your spine lifted, keep your chin parallel to the ground. Couple more breaths here. This one's not the most pleasant, but really awesome for releasing tension. All right, with your exhale, release that top hand again into reverse prayer, or fists meet each other. Draw those elbows back, chest is nice and open. One more breath. And then exhale, release the hands. Maybe do some rotations here with the wrists. And then doing some rotations through the shoulders, drawing them up, back and down. And then moving in the opposite direction. All right, from here, let's come over onto hands and knees. So take your knees underneath the hips, and we're going to step our hands a big step forward, and then start to release the chest, the head toward the ground. Forehead can come in contact with the ground if it reaches. And then keep reaching out through your arms. Extend your arms as far forward as you possibly can. And again, just breathe into that stretch that you're feeling. You may feel that around the armpits. You may also feel that down through the arms. Another good shoulder stretch. Alright, take one more breath here. And then with your inhale, just lift your gaze up slightly. Start to walk your hands a little over towards the right. Keep your hands in line with the shoulders. And then start to sink back down toward the ground. And just lean a little into that left shoulder so you maximize that stretch there. Again, breathing into it. And then with your next inhalation, lifting back up, walk the hands over towards the left, hands in line with the shoulders. And again, releasing down. If forehead comes towards the ground, great. If it doesn't, that's okay. And just start to lean out into that right shoulder a little. Breathing easily, steadily, using that breath to release tension. And then with your next inhale, making your way back to center. Now bring the hands back underneath the shoulders. From here, we're just going to come into a gentle twist. This will also open the shoulders, but it also gets into our thoracic spine. So just step the right hand forward of the left. Take the left hand, thread it through underneath the right. Come down onto the left shoulder and turn your head to the side. Make sure that you're resting up around the temple on the side of your head rather than your cheek. If you can't reach the ground, maybe grab a pillow or something to prop yourself up on so that you can still do this pose with us. And start to reach your right arm out a little bit further, walking those fingers away. And just allow that right shoulder to drop down. So you're getting into that upper back. You may still feel that stretch around the shoulder. And then start to roll your right shoulder away from the ground. Lift it up. That just moves a little bit more into that twist. One more breath. And then with your next inhale, slide your right hand back underneath the shoulder and press back up to hands and knees. All right, other side. Step the left hand a little further of the right. Take the right hand, thread it through underneath the left, coming down onto the side of your head and the right shoulder. And again, if you need something to prop yourself up, if you're having trouble reaching the ground, grab a pillow to slide underneath your body. Then walk that left hand out and away over your head. And start to drop down through that left shoulder, opening up the upper back. Breathing there. And then start to roll that left shoulder away from the ground, just moving a little bit more into that twist. All right, one more breath. And then bringing that left hand back underneath the shoulder, press into the hand, gently lifting back up. Just take a moment here on hands and knees just to let your spine gently realign. And then inhale, dropping through the belly, lifting through the gaze. Exhale, rolling under, taking the chin in towards the chest, rounding your spine, lifting your spine. Inhale, lifting back up, dropping through the belly. Exhale, roll under. One more time through. Inhale, lift. And exhale, rolling under. Beautiful. All right, coming back to a neutral position. Let's step our hands a little bit further out in front again, making sure your fingers are spread out nice and wide, index fingers pointing forward. We're going to come up into a downward dog now. So tuck your toes under at the back. When you're ready, lift the knees, come up high onto the balls of your feet, and then start to drop down through your heels. Now your legs are probably feeling pretty tight. They haven't had much attention yet. So just go heavy through the left heel, bend into the right knee just to get into that calf muscle a little. And then switch sides, go heavy through the right heel, bend into the left knee. Once more each side, heavy through the left heel, bend into the right knee. And then heavy through the right heel, bend into the left knee. And then going heavy through both heels, reaching out through the arms, pressing up and back through those hips. Maybe you need to keep your knees bent to make the pose more accessible for your body. Maybe you can straighten your legs. All right, from here, we're all going to step our left foot forward up in between the hands. Hands at either side of the front foot here and come up onto your fingertips so you've got a little bit more height. Now we're going to move through a couple of positions with our breath. So as you inhale, just drop a little through the hips and lift through the chest. And then as you exhale, straighten through the front leg, straighten through the back leg, and go heavy through your back heel, tip forward. Then inhale, come forward again, go heavy through the hips, drop through the hips, lift the chest. And then exhale, fold forward and straighten out through both legs. 3 more times. Inhale, coming forward into lunge. And exhale, moving everything back. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale, moving back. 1 more. Inhale, coming forward. Exhale, moving back. And then inhale, come forward into lunge again. Plant your hands down. Exhale, downward dog. All right, let's come to the other side. So stepping up through your right foot, coming up onto the fingertips here into your high lunge. Inhale, heavy through the hips, lift through the chest. Then exhale, straighten everything, press back. Then inhale, forward. Exhale, moving back. 3 more. Inhale, coming forward again. Exhale, pressing back. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. And then inhale, forward back into that lunge, hands to the ground, step to downward facing dog. Take a breath here. And then with your next inhalation, just walking your feet up towards the hands, taking your feet underneath your hips. Maybe a little bend into those knees as you fold forward, letting your head hang and go heavy. Then inhale, come to a halfway lift. Spine long, legs straight or as straight as possible. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, back up to halfway. Exhale, lower down. 1 more time. Inhale, up to your halfway. Exhale, lower. And then this time, inhale, a little bend into the knees. Inhale, reaching up through the arms. And exhale, taking your hands to your heart. Come into Tadasana, mountain pose, standing tall at the top of your mat. You may like to bring big toes together and heels slightly apart, or maybe prefer feet underneath the hips. Just take a moment here just to ground firmly into the feet. Just start to notice how your body is starting to open up already. All right, let's just move through some sun salutes just to get that blood moving through the body nice and easily. This also helps to release tension. So let's inhale, reach out through the arms, gentle back arch if that's comfortable. And then exhale, tipping forward, release down over the legs. Inhale, up to a halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the ground. Let's step right foot back behind, knee to the ground, into a low lunge. Inhale, bring the arms up without losing your balance. And then exhale, bring the hands down, downward dog. Then with your inhale, shift forward into plank. And exhale, come down through the knees, gently lowering down onto your belly. Hands stay underneath the shoulders or back in line with the chest. And inhale, just a little lift into a gentle cobra. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale, press back through to downward dog. Exhale there. All right, next inhalation, lift up through the right leg and then bend into the knee, take the heel to the bottom and open your knee out to the side, just starting to get a little more into those hips now. Inhale, reach straighten through that leg, then exhale, see if you can swing it up in between the hands. Lower down onto the left knee. Lunge here, inhale, coming up through the arms. And exhale, bring the hands down, step forward. Inhale to your halfway lift. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, bring the hands out wide as you reach up, reaching tall, and then exhale, hands to your heart. Moving through another one just like that. Let's inhale, bring the hands around the body. Exhale, tipping forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the ground. Left foot steps back this time, knee to the ground. Inhale, up into your lunge. Exhale, hands down, step back, downward dog. Inhale, forward to plank. Exhale, down through the knees, make your way down to the ground. Inhale, gentle cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhale, coming all the way back through to downward dog. And exhale there. Then inhaling, lifting up through the left leg. Bend into the knee, heel towards the bottom, three-legged dog. Opening those hips up a little bit more, and then inhale, re-straighten through the leg, and exhale, step it up in between the hands. Lower down to the right knee. Inhale, come up into your lunge, and exhale, hands down, step forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, hands come out wide as you reach up. Maybe a little back arch at the top there if that feels comfortable. Exhale, hands to the heart. Just take a little moment here. We're going to move through another couple of sun salutes, but we're going to vary it up a little. So inhale, hands come around the body, a little back arch. Exhale, tipping forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, hands down. Step right foot back, but have the right foot on a 90-degree angle. Bend into the left knee and inhale, open up into warrior two. Reach out through the arms, grounded through the feet. And then with your next inhalation, slide the right hand down the back leg. Reach the left arm over. Gaze towards your back foot. And then inhale, coming forward, straighten through your front leg. Take that left hand down to wherever it may reach. Press back through the hips and reach your torso forward. Open your chest, your torso to the side. One more breath. And then inhale, bend into your front knee. Maybe take your elbow to your thigh. Maybe you can take hand to the ground and reach your right arm over your ear. Side angle. Again, grounded through the legs, particularly through that back foot. And then inhale, come up back into warrior two. And then exhale, hands down, downward dog. And And then inhale forward through to plank. Exhale, you can come down through chaturanga or down through the knees. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. And exhale, downward dog. And then inhale, lift and reach up through that right leg. Exhale, step it up in between the hands. Turn your back heel down on a 90-degree angle. Inhale, come up, warrior two. Breath or two here. And then inhale, left hand to back leg, reach your right arm over, coming into reverse warrior. You can gaze towards your back foot if that's good for your neck. And then inhale, forward into warrior two, straighten through that front leg, tipping forward from your hips, right hand down to wherever it may reach, left hand comes up, pressing back through those hips strongly. Breath here. And then inhale, you can take elbow to the thigh or hand to the ground. Left arm comes over the ear for side angle. Ground out through that back foot. And then inhale, come back into warrior two. And then exhale, take the hands to the ground, step forward into your forward fold. Inhale, come up, halfway lift. Exhale, gently lower. Inhale, hands come out wide as you reach back up. Extend up through the fingers and exhale, hands to the heart. Let's continue through. Inhale, reach the hands around. Exhale, tipping forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the ground. Step back with the left foot. Heel is grounded. Come up, warrior two. Take a breath here in your warrior two. And then with your next exhale, come into reverse warrior. Reaching up through that top arm. Inhale, come forward through to Trikonasana, pressing back through your hips. Hand to the shin or the thigh, drawing up on the kneecaps, gazing wherever it's comfortable for your neck. And then inhale, bend to your front knee, elbow to the thigh or hand to the ground, reaching left arm over, slight lift through the hips. And then inhale, come back through to warrior two, and exhale, hands to the ground, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale through to plank. Exhale to the knees or down through chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. And then inhale, lift and reach up through left leg. Exhale, step that foot up in between the hands. Turn and ground the back foot. Inhale, warrior two, other side. Breath here. And then right hand slides down back leg. Left arm reaches over, reaching out through those fingers. And then inhale, come back through to warrior two. Exhale, shift forward through to Trikonasana. Pressing back through the hips, extend up through that top arm, gazing wherever it's comfortable. And then inhale, bend into that front knee, elbow to the thigh or hand to the ground, arm reaches over. Slight lift up through the hips here. And then inhale back into warrior two briefly. Exhale, hands down, step forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, coming all the way back up. Extend through the fingers. Exhale, hands to the heart. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit more warmth and heat building in the body. For those of you that are watching from Darwin, very easy to do very quickly. For those of you down south, you need a few more sun salutes. All right, Release your hands, step your right foot back and turn your feet so that they're parallel to the side of your mat. Sorry, parallel with the short edges of the mat. Then I'm just going to get you to turn your heels in and toes out slightly. So we're going to come through some kind of squat positions, goddess pose. We're going to do this with our breath. So let's inhale, reach up through the arms, and then exhale, bend into the elbows, bend to the knees, like you're coming into a really wide squat position. And then inhale, reach back up, extend up through the arms, and then exhale, bend into the knees, squatting down. Keep those knees moving open and wide. Make sure your spine stays in a neutral position, so you're not throwing your chest forward, keeping that spine neutral. Inhale, lift back up. Exhale, coming down. Inhale, reaching back up. Exhale, coming down. Draw those elbows back open across the chest. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. This time we're going to hold. So chest is open, elbows drawing back slightly. Knees are drawing back and open. Planting firmly through the feet. And your breath is nice and steady. One more breath. And then inhale, lift up, reach up through the arms. Exhale, take your hands to your hips. Ah, sweet relief. Okay, turn your feet in now so they are in line with each other. Just a slight change of the position of the feet. You want to have your heels very slightly turned out and the toes very slightly turned in. We're going to tip forward from here. So let's inhale, lengthen up along the spine, and then exhale, tipping from your hips, gently easing yourself down to as far as you can go. Maybe your hands stay on your hips, maybe hands slide down your legs to wherever you may reach, or maybe hands reach for the ground. And just letting that tip come from your hips, so it's like you're trying to point your bottom straight up towards the sky. And your spine just naturally waterfalls out of the hips for a nice way of visualizing that. Take some breaths here, opening up through the hips a little bit more now. All right, one more breath. And then with your next inhalation, lift back up to halfway. We're going to swivel on our feet, so we're facing the front of the mat. You should hopefully have left foot forward and right leg back. Drop down onto that back knee, untuck the toes. Take both hands to the inside of the foot there and walk that front foot out towards the edge of your mat. Now here you may like to turn your toes off the mat slightly, so you've got plenty of room to ease down through the hips. Now depending on how your hips are feeling, you may find staying right here, you're getting enough of a stretch through the front of the hip flexor and down into the thigh. For those of you that are a little bit more open, you may find you can come down onto your elbows. And for others, you may find you're kind of halfway between those positions. So if you have a thick book or some kind of block, you can place your elbows onto a block and then you can come to that halfway position. Now this one can feel pretty intense, so just breathe it out. Nice long deep inhale and exhale. Keep that breath flowing. Alright, then with your next inhalation, for those of you that are on your elbows, just gently pressing back up onto hands. Turn your front foot now to face the front of the mat and very slowly shift your hips back. Take your time with that. All right, then coming up onto the feet, swiveling around and now facing the back of your mat. Come down onto the left knee, right foot is facing forward. Walk that right foot out to the side, maybe turn the toes off the mat a little, and just make sure that both of your hands are to the inside of the foot. So you've got your options. You can stay up on your hands, maybe you need a block or a book, and you can come down to a halfway position, or maybe some of you can come all the way to the ground. So you want to be reasonably comfortable. You want to allow that breath to flow comfortably and easily so you can release that tension. If you are not achieving that, it means you've gone too deep and you need to back it off, come back to an easier position, work with the breath, and then you may find you can come down a little bit lower. This is a really good way to work. It ensures that you prevent injury, ensures that you work with your body and that you release tension rather than accumulate tension. So it's a very different approach to going to the gym. We be a bit more gentle with our bodies so that we get results. We will get results, but in a healthy, sustainable, achievable way. All right, let's take 2 more breaths here. Alright, then with your next inhalation, for those of you that are down on your elbows, gently coming back up onto your hands, bring that front foot to face the front edge of your mat. Tuck your toes, first, gently releasing those hips back, slowly coming out, then tuck the toes under, swiveling on the feet. Let's come back into that wide leg fold position. So you may need to just adjust your feet so they come to a comfortable position, and then just tip yourself down again. Good, release through the hips. Just draw those shoulders away from the ears. All right, then starting to lift back up, swiveling on the feet so that you face the front of the mat and step back into a downward dog. Pressing up and back through the hips, driving out through the arms, going heavy through the heels. Taking one more breath here. All right, then drop down onto your knees, untuck the toes. Let's just take a few moments in child's pose. Lowering your forehead towards the ground. Letting your hips go heavy down towards the heels. Imagine that you've got someone who's gently pressing down on the backs of your hips and lower back. And you can breathe down into that area. And then with your next inhalation, walking your hands back in towards you, gently lifting back up. Beautiful. All right, come over to sit over on your bottoms now. We're going to continue to work with the backs of the hips. So a couple of options here. First option is to sit in a cross-legged position. Have your left leg in front of the right. Now what you want to try and do is walk your feet out so that your ankles become in line with your knees, and you push your shins forward so that you're creating a box shape with your legs. I'll just give you a moment to get that position. For those of you that are a little bit more open through the backs of the hips, you may be able to pick up that front leg and place the ankle up on top of the knee. Now you want to be able to do this comfortably, so if you can't do it because of restriction through the knees or through the hips, stay with that first option that we just did. So from here we're all going to inhale, lift tall, and then exhale, walk the hands down and away, press back through the hips, go heavy through those hips just like we did in our child's pose, and turn your gaze downward. Breathe out into the backs of the hips, letting go of that tension that you're holding on to. Alright, one more breath. And inhale, gently lifting yourself back up, keeping your legs in this position, stepping the right hand out to the side. Inhale, lift up through the left arm, and exhale, gently side bending over. Reach out through the fingers, chest is nice and open. And then inhale, make your way back up, back to upright. And then let's switch the legs. So for those of you in more of that cross-legged position, have your right leg in front now. Shins are about parallel, ankles in line with the knees. Otherwise, that second position, picking up the ankle, placing it on top of the left knee. Again, if this is not comfortable on your hips or your knees, stay with that first option. So let's all take an inhalation and exhale, tipping forward. Turn your gaze downward, just coming forward as far as your body allows you to. Make sure you soften through the belly and the hips as you ease yourself down. You may find one side is a little bit more restricted than the other, so that's okay. Just give yourself some time to breathe out that tightness and letting it release. Alright, 2 more breaths. And then with your next inhalation, gently lifting back up, easing yourself up, stepping your left hand out to the side. Inhale, reach up through the right arm, and exhale, bending through that left elbow as you tip over. Stay heavy down through the right hip. This will help you to get the most of that stretch through the side body. Chest is open, that top arm is gently moving back. Alright, one more breath. And then inhale, lifting back up to upright. And just come into your normal cross-legged position now. Just rest your hands on your knees. Take a little moment here. Alright, then just briefly coming into Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet together. 2 options, you can either clasp your hands around your feet or you can take your hands behind you, press into your fingertips and use this to lengthen along your spine. So if you are particularly tight through the hips, or if you're having trouble keeping your spine upright, or you just prefer this one, this is a really good option to take. Alright, so whilst we're doing this one, I'm just going to demonstrate for you the next one that we're going to do. We're going to do a half a shoulder stand. It's just a nice way to get our bodies upside down. So I'll give you some options if you don't want to get too much upside down. So we're going to come onto our backs and you can just simply extend up through the legs. Nice and simple, nothing too difficult about that one. For those of you that do want to take half shoulder stand, to get into the position, you start to roll your knees in towards the chest and lift your spine up away from the mat. You take your hands onto the backs of your hips. You just walk those elbows a little closer and toward each other, and then drop your hips into your hands. So your hands become like a shelf. And then you can simply just extend up through the legs there. If you need to come out, you bend your knees back into the chest and you slowly roll back down. Alright, so everyone coming down onto your backs now, coming into the position of your choice. So I'll talk you through that half shoulder stand for those of you that are taking it. So rolling the spine away from the mat, coming up to the backs of the shoulders. Hands come onto the backs of the hips. Drop the hips into the hands, extend up through the legs. gazing upwards. Breathe steady here. Just make sure your gaze does stay upward, that you don't turn your head. Alright, let's take 2 more breaths here. And then with your next inhalation, bring those knees back to the chest, release the hands and slowly roll yourself back down. Knees into the chest, wrap your arms around your knees, nice tight squeeze. And then release your head back to the ground and feet to the ground. Alright, just a couple more poses to finish off with before we come into our Shavasana. So we're going to come into a twist from here. So just lift your hips, shift them a little over towards the right, extend out through the left leg, placing your right knee up on top of the thigh here and your left hand to the knee. You can bring that right arm out in line with the shoulder, inhale, and then exhale, guide your knee down towards the left. So this is also getting into the hips and the shoulders. So to make the most of that, just start to roll your right hip and your right shoulder away from each other, and you'll feel that stretch through those parts of your body as well as releasing along your spine. You can turn your gaze over your your right arm if you'd like to. Alright, then inhale, making your way back to center. Bring the feet back to the ground and let's shift the hips over towards the left, release them back down. Extend out through the right leg. Bring that left foot up on top of the knee or the thigh. Arm out to the side, big inhale, then exhale, rolling down over towards the right. Just moving the hip and the shoulder away from each other. Turning your gaze over your left arm if that's good for your neck. So nice, settling, steady breaths here. Both shoulders stay grounded. Breath, and then inhale, gently easing yourself back to center, taking the soles of the feet back to the ground and just squaring your hips up again. Bring the soles of the feet together, knees out wide. You can draw those feet in as close to your body as you wish. Just let those knees drop down with the weight of gravity, so you're not forcing the knees down. And you can reach your arms back over your head. Gently close your eyes, and maybe you'd like to exhale out through your mouth now. Alright, one more breath here. And then with your next inhalation, just bring your arms back, draw those knees together, and now extend out through your legs. Take your feet out as wide as you like towards the corners of your mat if that's comfortable. Just make any necessary adjustments to your body that you need to ensure you're comfortable for Shavasana. You can take your hands a bit of a distance from your hips. And then just starting to allow your entire body to rest and relax. Allowing the back of your body to go completely heavy. And allowing the front of your body to be open and light. You are no longer holding on to any tension in your body, from your head down through your neck, your arms, shoulders, torso, hips, legs and feet. Letting your whole body rest.
Haribo Krishna.
Now just gently bring your awareness back onto your body, noticing the parts of your body that are in contact with the ground. Start to bring some gentle movement back into your body, your fingers, your toes, perhaps rolling your head from one side to the other. Maybe you'd like to take a big stretch by reaching your arms up over your ears, extending out through the legs. Or maybe you feel you need to give yourself a tight squeeze and bring the knees into the chest. And then when you're ready, just gently making your way over to your right side. Resting there for a breath or two. And then when you're ready, gently making your way back up to a seated position. Alright, just sitting comfortably. Time now to practice some meditation. This is the ultimate tension reliever for our minds. So the mantra we'll use is Om Hari Om. So I'll chant this mantra through a few times, a couple of times, and then you guys can repeat it back and let your entire mind, your whole being be immersed in this sound vibration. This is what will bring you that peace and that joy that you are looking for. Hari Alright, just taking in a couple of long, deep breaths. Just noticing how you are feeling here. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. Bowing your head. Thank you very much, everyone. Namaste. Thank you for joining me for this session. I hope that's been helpful for your hips and your shoulders. And have a wonderful day.